Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayati girim yat kripatamaham bandi paramananda madhavam. I bow down to Krishna, by whose grace the lame scale mountains and the dumb become eloquent. May Krishna be the guide of all lives. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be for. This morning our subject is Thoughts on the Gita, part 47. We are studying the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and the name of the chapter is The Way of Renunciation. There are 18 chapters in the Gita. Each chapter is called Yoga. It begins with Vishada Yoga, first chapter on grief, despondency, depression. The second chapter is the way of ultimate reality. The third chapter, the way of action. Next, the way of knowledge, the way of renunciation, the way of meditation. Then, way of devotion, and the final chapter is the way of liberation. The Gita has been set in such a way that it is just like 18-storied building. If you want to go to the top floor, that is liberation, you will have to go every step, one after another. And each chapter is yoga. Yoga means union with God. How we can unite ourselves with God. At the end of every chapter, we find a tailpiece of the Gita, which is very interesting. Iti Shri Mahabharate Shatasahasram Sangitayam Vayasikam Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gitashu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvadi Sannyasa Yoga Nama Panchavadhyaya. In the tailpiece of the Gita, it is very, very interesting. Gita, what is the origin of this Bhagavad Gita? Mahabharata. What is in the Mahabharata? That is the greatest and the biggest and the largest epics in the world. It consists of 100,000 verses. Who wrote it? Vyasa, the great illumined sage. Where shall I find this Mahabharata Gita? In the Bhishma Parva of the Mahabharata. In there you will find the Gita. What is this Gita? Upanishadsu. It is the essence of the Upanishad, essence of the Vedanta. Brahma Vidyayam. It is the science of Brahman. Yoga Shastre. It is the scripture of the yoga. And finally, it is a dialogue between God and man, between Krishna and Arjuna. Human beings have problems. It is God who took human form and solved those problems. Basic problems are two: delusion and fear. All human beings live with these two horrible problems. Fear and delusion, confused. We sometimes do not know what is right, what is wrong. We cannot make right decision. So Krishna was trying to make decision for Arjuna because his friend, cousin was confused. It is common in India, during the winter season, they observe Gita Jayanti. Sometimes they study and have discourses on the Bhagavad Gita for 7 days, 10 days, 1 month, 3 months. They constantly study and meditate and practice this Gita. That is called Gita Jayanti. Gita is a song sung by Krishna. What did he say? There are 4 basic things we find in the teachings of Krishna. First, dharma, righteousness, duties. You must know what is your duty. You must know what is righteousness. Second, truth. Third, Nyaya, justice. Fourth, Sadachar, good conduct. These are the 4 basic things Krishna taught. Krishna knew the cause and effect of the war. It is a terrible holocaust. All great heroes of India, most of them, would be killed. 18 million people assembled to decide whether dharma or adharma, who will win. In the unrighteous party, there are 11 million, and the righteous party, 7 millions. So they came to decide. It is a decisive battle. Where this war held, Kurukshetra. It is maybe 80 to 100 miles from New Delhi. I remember in 2004 when I was in India, I visited that place where this war took place. I saw a museum they built, that 18 days war, what happened in the first day, second day, third day, fourth day. In the huge museum, they showed the effect, the outcome of that war on each day, what happened. It's a beautiful museum. Krishna tried to avoid this war. But this unrighteous party, they are adamant. They did the horrible sins. The last one was Draupadir Vastrahar. This Yudhishthira and Shakuni, they are playing dice. Yudhishthira was cheated, and then they are taking the pawn, that what will happen, this, that. Their last pawn was Draupadi, their wife, and they are trying to remove the cloth from Draupadi's body and publicly, because she is my slave, told Duryodhana. Krishna knew that is the last sin they have committed, now I'll have to take action. There is no other way. You see, God forgives 99 times. When the sin is 100%, when it is full to the brim, you will have to take an action. Why? Otherwise, the whole society will disintegrate. You will have to take an action. Otherwise, there will be no peace, harmony in society. Everything will be in chaos. So, Krishna came to establish and to compromise. Will he give 5 villages to 5 brothers? No. Then the war became inevitable. So these Pandavas, this righteous party, went to Hiranyati river and built the fort on the bank of the river. In the war, always remember, 2-3 things are very vital. Food supply, water supply, and weapon supply. These three things are very vital in a war. My soldiers, my army should get food, weapons, and water. So they selected the best place, Hirannati River. Plenty of water. Because you will have to feed these 7 million people. I was watching the farsightedness of Krishna and these 5 brothers. Then the origin of the Gita. Basha came and asked the sovereign king, do you like to see the outcome of this war? You are the main person who is responsible for this war. You are so much attached and blind towards your children who brought this war. No, I do not see this massacre. You give the divine sight to Sanjaya, my secretary, my minister. He will relay the whole scene and the outcome of the war to me. So Sanjaya got the divine sight. Sitting in the palace, he can see what is going on in the battlefield. Remember, at that time television was not invented. At that time there was no television. Sitting in your room, you can see what is going on in New York or in Orange, what is called oil spill in Louisiana. Sitting in your room, you can see everything. At that time there is no TV. But Basha gave this divine sight that you can see what is going on 100 miles away. And he is narrating that I see this, I see this. Arjuna had 3 questions. I shall not fight. Why? If the people, those who are fighting against me, they are my cousins, my relatives. I shall get grief if I kill my own people. First. Second, what shall I gain from this war? Shreya. I shall not attain liberation. It is terrible. War is bad. What shall I gain from this war? I do not want heaven. I do not want to rule this world. And the third thing, Krishna who came to Arjuna's mind, I shall commit sin. If you kill human beings, you will commit sin. So these are the 3 things in Arjuna's mind. Krishna replied to all these 3 things. The first, that I shall not kill my relatives. The answer was given in chapter 2, verses 11 to 30. I shall not attain anything from this war. Why should I fight? The answer was given by Krishna in chapter 2, 30, verses 31 to 38. And the question 3, that I shall commit sin, Krishna answered, chapter 2, verses 39 to 53. Now what is in the Gita? Somebody made a comment. Do you know what is Gita? I hear Arjuna is crying and Krishna is singing. That we hear, that is Gita. Arjuna is crying, Arjun ka rona aur Bhagavan ka gana. Arjuna is crying and God is singing. That is Gita. When we begin to cry, we break the rhythm. The tune, everything collapses. We have no control over ourselves when we cry, when we are very upset. I remember once one of our monks became very angry and he went to the head Swami to release his anger and to complain. The head Swami looked at him and said, "Brother, there cannot be any dialogue right now. We cannot converse right now because you are upset. You are so emotional and you have no control. You lost your reason now, balance. You please go and come after a few hours, then we shall talk. When your anger will drop, at that time we can have a conversation. Right now we cannot have any kind of conversation. I cannot communicate with you." So same thing happened. Arjuna is unbalanced. So we lost the rhythm. What did Krishna do? Arjuna said, "I am really confused. Why don't you drive my chariot between these belligerent parties? I like to see who has come to fight with me." So Krishna drove his chariot of life, Jivan Rath. Life is Jivan. Chariot, he just brought in the middle of these two large armies, where you can hear the sound of the horses and the elephants. They are about to run, and these people are also trying to shoot each other. There is a tremendous commotion. When the army faces the army, at that time, they just do or die. They are all ready to die or ready to kill. What Krishna do? First he roused him. Klaibyam masmagama partha naitatvai upapadyate shudram hridaya daurballam taktatishta parantava. Arjuna, give up this cowardice, faint-heartedness. It does not befit you. You are a hero. Get up. Get up. That is called awakening. That is the first thing Krishna did. The second lesson, in the battle of life, sometimes you will win, sometimes you will lose. Victory and defeat are the part of human life. We cannot expect that our cardinals will win every game in the whole season. It is not possible. Some games they will win, some games they will lose. So, what shall I do? Forbear the dvanda, the duality. Matra sparshasthu kuntiya shitushna sukhudukkada agama paino anitya tang stitikshvasva bharata. That is the middle. Second lesson. Happiness and misery, do you know how do they come? It comes between the contact of the senses and the sense objects. If the sense object is favorable, you get happiness. If the sense objects are bad, you get unhappy sensation. It is all between the senses and the sense objects. That is the way we experience happiness and misery in life. Why do you experience? In the mind, not in the body. Matra sparshasthu, sheet, cold and heat, happiness and misery. These things are inevitable in human life. So, tang stitikshvasva bharata, forbear, endure. There is no other way. As long as you have a human body, you must endure. That is the second lesson. The third lesson, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara juddhacha mayarpito manobuddhir ma me vaishyasi asamshaya. For that reason I tell you, all the time just think of me and fight. Mam anusmara. Think of me Juddha cha, and fight. That is the only way you can attain victory. Think of God and struggle. Struggle, struggle. I remember Swami Prabhupada told me once, he went to his guru, Swami Brahmananda, and said, Maharaj, could you give me an instruction about spiritual life? Swami Brahmananda looked at him and said, you want an instruction? Yes. Struggle, struggle, struggle. That is my instruction to you. You are going against Maya. In every step you will have to struggle. But if God's grace comes, your spiritual journey will be very favorable. He will reduce the intensity of the struggle. That is the way it works. What is Gita? In the eulogy of the Gita, we find there is a beautiful verse. Gita sugita kurtibhyah kimanni shastra vistari yasvayam padmanabhaisya mukha padmad vinishrita. What is the necessity of reading hundreds of scriptures? It is not necessary. Gita can serve that purpose. It is the quintessence of all the scriptures. Moreover, this Gita came from the lips, from the mouth of Padmanabha, Krishna, God himself. But you must know how to sing well. Last night I was reading, this man, I knew him very well, he was very close to me, great scholar. He found 7 notes or scales in the 7 notes in the Bhagavad Gita. 7 kinds of tunes, I do not know those musical terms. In Indian music, do you know how does it go? Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni. Udara, mudara, tara. Udara in the opening, mudara in the middle, and tara is the high. So this is the way the tune goes, the sound system of the music. So there are Shaptashur, there are 7 notes, 7 tunes in the Bhagavad Gita. All music, then they make different ragas, raginis. There are many things they can improvise, the great masters, musicians. But main is the 7. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. Onulom, bilom. Sometimes, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. In this way they go up and down. Onulom, bilom. So this man found these 7 notes in the Bhagavad Gita. First, sa. What is sa? Hridaya durbullam taktatishcha parantapa. Give up this weakness, faint-heartedness, cowardice. Rise up and walk. Rise up and fight. That is the first tune. Second tune, second note. Yuddhasya bharata, yuddhaya yujyasya, yuddhasya vigata jvara, yuddhasya jetasi rani sapatna. Yuddha, fight, fight, fight. As I said previously, struggle, struggle, struggle. That is the second note in the Bhagavad Gita. As if Krishna is beating the drum, the trumpet near the ears of Arjuna and inspiring him to fight against the odds of life. The third is Ga. What is Ga? I know this work is very difficult, this war, killing wounded people, so many people will be wounded and killed. But I'm telling you, this work, I can tell you the secret of work. Yoga karmashu kaushalam. Skill in action is called yoga. Learn how to work. Most of the people do not know how to work. Like Krishna is telling him how to work. Listen. Yogaya yujyasya. practice yoga and then fight. Yogam attishta uttishta. You unite yourself, your life in yoga, and then you fight. Be a yogi. All the time keep your mind in yoga. Then you will never lose in the battle. I am telling you the secret. The skill in action is called yoga. The fourth tune, sa, re, ga, fourth tune is ma. Ma is the middle. You see, here is 3 notes, here are 3 notes, six notes. And the middle is ma. What is ma? Please, at that time, your mind is in the Sushumna channel. Ma is tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manushmara yuddhacha. All the time, think of me and fight. That is the Akshar Brahma Yoga. Go to fight, but keep your mind in me. But how is it possible that I am throwing arrow and thinking of God? That is the question. I am throwing arrow and keeping my mind in God. Do you know what does he do at that time? His ego is off. It is God is fighting through me. All my senses, body, mind belong to God. He is completely unified himself with God. God made him an instrument and fighting. That Krishna says in other place, Nimitta Bhatra Bhavasaipa Sachin. Be only the witness. I killed all of them. Just be an instrument. In the 5th note, we find pa. Just Krishna says, Bhajasvamam, just worship me. Bhaja means also Sheva, serve me. After thinking of God, then we sing His glory. Do you know what is Krishna's mind? Anittam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajossamam. That is in the 9th chapter of the Gita. This world is anitya, not a permanent place. Asukam, full of misery. You have come, this impermanent world which is full of misery, so worship me. That is the only way you can get peace and happiness. The 6th note, Dha. Manmana bhava mad bhakto mad jaji bang namaskuru. Be my devotee. Worship me. And bow down to me. Surrender yourself to me. That means completely face your ego. Well, I do not know you. Bhajasvamam. Mam means Ishvara. I do not know you. How can we surrender myself to you? That is one of the main questions of the people. Who do not know God, how can I establish relationship with Him? Who do not know Him, how can I communicate with Him? Krishna is telling, Mom, that is the ni, the last note of the music. First he says, Buddhau sharanamannitsa. You take refuge in your buddhi. I dwell in your intellect. God dwells in everybody's intellect as Jivatma. Jiva and Atma. When the consciousness and unconsciousness meet, that is the place God dwells. Consciousness. The first reflection of consciousness comes on buddhi. Intellect. You take refuge in your intellect. That is the place. Brahman sarva bhutani jantra rudhani mayaya. I rotate all these human beings just like merry-go-round. Mamekam sharanam braja. Take refuge in me. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. Aham tvam sarva papibhu mokshayishyami ma shucha. Give up all of your duties. Just take refuge in me. I shall protect you from all kinds of sins. Do not grieve. Do not grieve. That is the final message of Krishna in the Gita. If you take refuge in me, I shall take care of you. That is the 7 notes we find in the Bhagavad Gita. This man wrote very nicely. Now we shall go to our Gita. Chapter 5, verse 12. Yuktah karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti noishtikim ajuktah kamokarena phale sakto nibuddhati. The well-poised one, forsaking the fruit of action, attains peace, born of steadfastness. The unbalanced one, led by desire, is bound by being attached to the fruits of action. Yukta. Yukta means the person who is a yogi, whose mind is connected with God. What does he do? Karma phalam tyaktva. He gives up the results of action. How many actions are there? First is kamya karma. We want to go to heaven, or we want some prosperity. So give up those kind of desires. Then nishiddha nitya karma. Daily obligatory duties. For example, morning and evening I shall practice my spiritual disciplines. If I do not do, it will not good for me. I shall get a stain in my mind. Sri Ramakrishna gave an illustration. Here is a brass pot. If you clean it regularly, it will glitter. It will be dazzled. But if you do not clean daily, with next day you will find a stain will come. At last you will not see that whether it is a brass pot or not. You can see our knob in the bookshop. I see it is a dazzling, beautiful brass, but now it is dark. It is conchi. Every day you must clean it. That's the way Sri Ramakrishna was taught by his Guru. Why meditation, daily meditation is necessary? Because mind will get a stain if you do not practice regularly. It is extremely important. I remember one Japanese girl asked me, Swami, why should I meditate? I asked her, then why do you eat? Well, I eat because I need energy, I need food. Same thing. Meditation brings tremendous energy, peace, joy in the mind. Nitya karma, kamya karma, nitya karma, noimittik karma, just occasional some kind of duties, work. Prati nishiddha karma, for example, killing, murdering others. This type of karma you will have to give up. Prashchitta karma, expiation. This type of actions you will have to give up. Then you will get authentic, intense peace and joy. Karma phal. Or ajukta, the person, unbalanced person who is not a yogi, she phale asakta. He always seeking the result of action and get attached to those worldly things and get caught by Maya. Sri Ramakrishna told a story. There are 4 types of people you will find in this world. Nitya, Mukta, then Mukta, Mumukshu, Baddha. Sri Ramakrishna told these 4 types of people you will find in this world. A fisherman dropped the net to catch the fish. The first fish, he overheard the conversation of the fisherman. He immediately left that place. that we are going to fish this place. They are Nitya Mukta. They will never be caught. Like Narada, Shukadeva, Swami Vivekananda. They will never be caught by Maya. The second group of fish was thinking, well, I know the tricks. No net can bind me, can trap me. Let them drop the net, I shall see. The fishermen dropped the net. This fish, boom, gave a jump and went to the other safe side. They are Muktajeev. The moment they see the net is coming, immediately they will jump and go to the other side and become safe. Safe side. The third, Mumukshujeev. The moment they see that net is coming, they try to tear the net through force, tremendous energy. From a distance, they go with the mouth, they want to tear the net of the fisherman. And some succeed. They are called Mumukshu, who are trying to liberate themselves. And the fourth kind of people are Baddhaji, bound souls. They just entangle themselves with the net and lie down on the bed of the pond or the lake, and the fishermen catch them and sell them in the market. Sri Ramakrishna told this story. You will find these four types of people. You check yourself that in which group you are. Two types of people are mentioned, Yukta and the Ajukta. Those who have entered the path of yoga, of inner discipline to realize the truth that is hidden. Such people are called Yukta, united. The other people are called Ajukta. So how does a Yukta fare in this path? Renouncing the fruits of action, attains peace through such a methodical process. The other one, the non-yogi, impel the sensory pulls and desires, getting attached to the fruits of actions and becomes bound. So two types of people are there, the free and the bound. Next verse, 13. Sarva karmani manasa sennasaste sukhang vashi navaddare puridehi naiva kudvanna karayan. The subduer of the senses, having renounced all actions by discrimination, rests happily in the city of the 9 gates, neither acting nor causing others to act. Vashi. Vashi means the man who has full control over himself, who attains self-mastery. He is Vashi. We are in trouble because we do not have control over ourselves. We have no control over our mind, we have no control over our senses. That is the reason we practice spiritual disciplines. We are succumb to temptation very quickly because we have no control. I remember once one lady came here. While I was lecturing, she was, time to time, she was shouting and shivering. So later on I asked him that why did you do that? She has some mental problem and the psychiatrist gave her some electric shock and her body was shaking like anything. Then she told me, Swami, I have no control. Still I hear her voice, Swami, I have no control. They gave me so much electric shock, I have no control, Swami. Many people have no control. We have no control over the mind, we have no control over the senses. But Boshi, he has full control, he has self-mastery. He does not make mistakes. We make so many mistakes. That is the reason we have all these problems and sufferings. Shukham Boshi, Shukham. Shete Shukham Kastu Samadhista. Shankara says in Moni Ratnamala, do you know who sleeps happily in this world? Who sleeps happily? Samadhista, the person who attains Samadhi. He really sleeps happily. Sarva karmani manasa sannyasya. He gave up all kinds of actions. He is a sannyasi. What does he do? He lives in this body, Navoddhar. This body has 9 gates. 2 eyes, 2 ears, nose, mouth, and 2 lower down our senses of procreation and evacuation. These are the 9 gates. In this city, you can see it is a small house. This body, everybody has a house. This is the house. I remember in our Vedanta class, our teacher was telling me, you are a householder. I said, no, Swami, I am a monk. No, you are a householder. I said, no, I am a monk. Then he said, do you know who is a householder? You people think those who are married have children, they are householders, and you people have monks because you have taken the ochre cloth. Do you know who is the real householder? The person who lives in the body. Do you live in the body or in the Atman? As long as you live in the body, you are a householder. I got a very good lesson. We are householders. We live in this body, mind, organism. This is our body. This is our home. But do you know what Krishna says? This body is a vacation village. There is a hotel on the Laguna Beach, I saw, vacation village. So we came to this body as for a vacation for 80 years, 90 years, about 100 years. Just it is a temporary holiday inn, you see. Have food, have a nice time, then leave. This is a vacation village with 9 gates. Our eyes and ears, these are the 2 powerful passages which bring all information inside. We really are, through the eyes, how much information we get from this world, and through the ears. These 4 gates are very powerful, constantly bringing the sense objects to the mind and making us restless. Navoddhare pure dehi. Dehi means Atman. Noiva kurban nakaran. The Atman, God dwells inside, he does not do anything. He just watches what is going on. As a drashta, as a witness. The Atman, God inside, is watching. What are you doing? In this body, sometimes we find disease, some accident, it falls, Alzheimer's disease, various kinds of problems. But Atman is unaffected. How? Sri Ramakrishna gave an illustration. Perhaps you have seen coconut. If the water is dried out, the inner kernel becomes separated from the shell. If you shake it, you will find that inner kernel is moving. You can hear it. If you break the shell, it does not hurt. It does not hurt the kernel. Kernel is the Atman. So this person knows how to separate the body from the Atman. He is the Boshi. He is a real illumined soul. When Sri Ramakrishna was suffering from cancer, Swami Chetanananda, Sri Ramakrishna said, "Oof, so much pain, so much pain." Chetanananda said, "Sir, I see you are in a very good mood. You are in a nice time. You are happy. What do you mean? I have cancer." Then when everybody left, Sri Ramakrishna said, "You are right. I have no body consciousness. I separated myself from the body. I am the Atman. This body has its own disease, it will take care of itself. What can I do? But this body should be taken care of. Sri Ramakrishna always took care of his body. Food, clothing, cleanliness, brush your teeth, scrape your tongue. Sri Ramakrishna used to teach his disciples. Eat this body. Do you know why it is so important? Because you are carrying God all the time. You do not want your beloved should live in a dirty, nasty place. Keep your body in very good shape, good, clean condition. It is extremely important. Navoddare Puri Dehi. In this city with 9 gates, God dwells inside. Don't neglect the body. Sometimes it happens, we find, there is a beautiful verse I sometimes repeat. Navi nandeta maranam, navi nandeta jivanam, kalameva pratikshita, nirdesham vrittako jatha. Do not covet death, do not covet life. Just wait, as a servant waits for the call of the master. That means this body was born for a specific purpose and it will go that way. When its purpose is over, this body will die. So you cannot expedite it. Let me die quickly. Or some people try to do it. Well, I shall commit suicide. But I sometimes tell them, if you commit suicide, do you know what does it mean? It means you will have to start your next life, the journey from the same spot. When your car is stalled in the freeway, what do? You call AAA, they will pick up the car and take you to the gas station and fix it. So perhaps your destination, you could not go to the destination. You terminated your destination on the way. You committed suicide. You destroyed your body. Your next life will begin because some people commit suicide to get rid of some problems. It is not the answer. Answer is to face them. So, do not covet life, do not covet death. Just wait. It is in the Manu Samhita. Somebody thinks, oh, it is better to die. Why should I carry this body, this, that, This man wrote a nice. In the second line of the verse, there is the dryly humorous description of the body as the little town with 9 gates. Our eyes are 2 wide open gates through which sights are marching in procession. Our ears are 2 gates where sounds are coming through in long, long queues. Most of us are firmly convinced that we are the body. We are not aware that the body is just the little city in which we dwell. Because we identify others as well as ourselves with the body, we go through life without ever really seeing those around us. We do not even really get to know our own dear ones. Even after years of marriage, we have never seen our partner, living with the members of our family all our life. We pass out of this world without even having seen them as they really are, as the Atman, the pure, perfect dweller within the body. That is Dehi. Who is living inside you? Christ says the kingdom of heaven is within you. We are completely unaware of that kingdom. But the reason Krishna is reminding Arjuna, listen, where you are, the Boshi, the man who has full control, happily lives in this body of the 9 gates. He just stays in this world like a witness. Next verse. Na kurtrittam na karmani lokusya srijati prabhu na karma phalo sangyogam sabhavastu pravartate. Neither agency nor actions does the Lord create for the world, nor does He bring about the union with the fruit of action. It is nature that does it all. You will have to understand about the position of Vedanta about you. Who are you? According to Sankhya philosophy, this Atman is not the doer, but the Atman is the enjoyer. Purusha is the enjoyer and the knower. The Purusha, the Atman, knows and enjoys. He does not do. Who does the work for the Purusha? Prakriti, nature. That is the position of Shankar. The Nayayikas, they believe that Atman has 18 qualities. Gun, qualities. Ichha, desh, happiness, misery, all these things, these are all qualities of the Atman. What is the position of Vedanta? Vedanta says, no, Atman has no qualities. Do you know what? Those qualities are superimposed on the Atman. Atman is ever pure, ever perfect, ever free. Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Saitya, Savabha, Paramananda, Ananta, Adhyayam, Brahma. That is the position of Vedanta. Nitya, eternal, Shuddha, pure, Buddha, awakened, Mukta, free, Saitya, truth, full of bliss, infinite, and non-dual. That is the Atman. Do you know what is in Arjuna's mind? He says, most people blame God for two things. Do you know what is? He is cruel and he is partial. These are the two complaints against God. Cruel. Why do I suffer? Why God is doing all these things for me? My car did not take a start. Why? Satan is working. Are you take your car? Do not blame anybody. Vaishamya, partial. She is very happy, rich, beautiful. I am ugly. I am poor. She is a human being. I am a human being. Why? God is partial. Blame God. These are the two ways we blame God. Partial and cruel. Vedanta has answered. You are a farmer. I am a farmer. I cultivated the land and I tilled the land. I sowed the seed. I got the harvest. And you are a lazy person. You did not do it. You did not get the harvest. Your land, my land, got the sun, the rays of the sun, got the rain, but you did not get any crop. Why will you blame God for that reason? And cruel, God is not cruel. He gives the results of our actions. Again, Ishahivanam, whom God wants to lift, He will force that person to do good actions, to think good thoughts. He will put that person into good environment so that he can imbibe the spirituality from the very beginning of his spiritual journey, and vice versa. It is you. One of our Swamis used to tell us, do you know what is Kripa, what is grace? He used to show us the scissors. Here is one blade, here is another blade. Both blades are necessary to cut a cloth. One is self-effort, another is grace. Both are necessary. If you make an effort, grace will come. If you do not make an effort, no grace will come. And when I first joined the monastery, an old Swami gave me a beautiful lesson. Listen, young boy, if you work, you will make sometimes mistakes. And then you will correct them, and then you will make progress. And when you make mistakes, people will scold you and criticize you. And if you do not work, you will never make any mistake, you will never be criticized, you will be at the same place. That was a great lesson for me, I tell you frankly. I must strive hard. That's the main thing in my life. Result, whatever it comes, it will come. And if I do not do anything and just watch television, lie down in bed, that life is not right to me. That means you are misusing this precious human life, which is meant for God realization. No lazy people are fit for the spiritual life. Biphu, Prabhu, Shabhavastu Pravartate. The divine personality, the supreme divine being, did not prescribe any agency of action. Neither of these was just prescribed by the divine Lord for humanity. Then how does this action go on? Nature does it all. As in the case of the animals, it is nature that is impelling us. Nature that is outside has found a place within us also. Man is an outpost of external nature in many respects. Our digestive system, our reactions are all the work of nature. Swabhav. Swabhav, nature. Krishna told Arjuna, you are pretending that I shall not fight. Your very nature will force you to fight. You have a Kshatriya blood. You have in your blood, it is warrior's blood. You will fight. You are pretending that I shall not fight, I shall not fight. There are two kinds of prakriti, para prakriti, apara prakriti. Bad tendencies and good tendencies. In all human beings, these two tendencies are prevalent. Who will win? Sometimes our good tendencies win, sometimes bad tendencies win. Swami Brahmananda told a story. A holy man was bathing and a scorpion was carried away by the current of the river. He picked up that scorpion and lifted it and saved its life and put it on the ground. The scorpion stung, and he was in deep pain. Again that scorpion went into the water. Again the holy man rescued and he was stung. 3 times it happened. Then someone said, let that rascal die. Why are you trying to save that person? Let that scorpion die. The holy man said, it is the nature of the scorpion to sting, and it is the nature of a holy person to save. As the scorpion cannot get rid of its own nature, I can't get rid of it either. That is called Swabhava. My very nature is to do good to people. That Krishna says. It is a very, very important thing, this Swabhava. 2 types of people experience happiness and are free from all tension, namely the uttered fool among men, in whom the struggle for humanness has not yet commenced, and the one who has gone beyond buddhi, intellect or reason, in the experience of the Atman, the infinite divine self, and the transcendence of both animal and human nature. All others in between are in varying stages of tension and struggle. So who is forcing us in action? Our very nature. God is only watching. I shall stop here. It is so Shvabhavastu, perhaps I could explain a little bit more to you. I shall try next time. That is a beautiful word. Who is forcing me to work? Who? I want to know this person. Is it God or something? Well, no, your nature, Prakriti. Bhadram karne vishnuyama devaham Bhadram pashe maksha virjajatra Srirangaya sustubhagum sastanubhi Vashima devahitam yadayoho Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lord, may we hear with our ears what is auspicious. May we see with our eyes what is good. Tranquil in body and mind. May we spend our lifetime for God realization and for doing good to humanity. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be at all.